This video that I've been planning got cancelled. Now, which video am I talking about? Well, the no visual stimulation video that I've been teasing on various platforms of mine. How did it get to that point? Well, really, the real reason is because my video idea, when I decided to actually start filming, it was all over the place. Why was that? Well, the challenge in itself started on the 15th of May. Now it is the 24th of May. This will probably release on the 27th, I think, based on calculations. But anyway, it's been a month since then, but I decided to stop it around 3 weeks in. Now, reason was that before the 15th of May, I was doing I'm like, you know what, decided to start this thing, this challenge of no visual stimulation. Now, what a no visual stimulation diet is that, well, how it really started for me was that I need to get off anime, really. That's what really started. So, no anime, and then IG, TikTok, those kind of followed along, as well as Twitter, or well, Twix. That kind of fell off as well. I wasn't really using it, but then TikTok, IG, and Twix, those sort of just deleted. I just deleted them. They just came on by association. I deleted YouTube as well, but now I still have it on the new phone, but on the old one it got deleted. But because it's on Google thing, you can't delete it. It's more disabled, but that's beside the point. So when it comes to the explanation of the whole no visuals thing, well, I'll leave it to behind the scenes video coming further on in the video on why I actually did it, but that's where I actually properly explain the logistics, things like that. So that was before the 15. I was like, maybe I should film this for my YouTube as it's easy YouTube content. But then I went down the line and I'm like, no, maybe not, because it's small personal things. And generally, across the recent years, I've tended to want to keep personal things to myself because just not to want to share too much because I've not gotten that same receptivity. So I've not really been an avid sharer of information that I know. So which is why I generally tend to keep information unless I get warmed up a lot. That's part of why I didn't release the no visuals. That's why I didn't get released on the 15th, because there's a no sort of a personal journey, so I left it like that. And then 15 started. 15 I think was well, the week of the 15. No, 15 was a Wednesday actually. Week of the 15, things just got hectic. So I didn't really see anything. Test week was next week. I was tutoring people on software, things like that. It was hectic. So that week I didn't really see much. But then a week afterwards was when I was like, okay, maybe let me just document this on YouTube and just say, this is how the journey went for people who wanna also maybe see if it's a valuable thing that they wanna get into. And then I went on maybe 1, 2, 3 weeks. I remember it was test week, so I went 1, 2, 3 weeks after the video getting released, and I'm like, okay, I decided to do the video. Now I couldn't just do my experience without actually going background, and then I was looking at that. The background was starting to was getting hazy. I was starting to forget it a bit, and then so there was that background, and then there was also my experience of it, which I was documenting as a sort of journal, so that I can actually keep my own thoughts, what I'm thinking down, processing, so I can actually think through it properly. So I was documenting that process, and I also had my previous of my reasons for starting it, right? Which I'll get into in the behind the scenes. I'm looking at all of this and I'm just saying this will probably get dragged out for a bit longer because it was around then, I think it was 15 May, maybe 15 plus 7 is 22. So 22 went like just week, and then there's a week again, and then we had exams starting on the 5th. So I just said maybe let me just do it where what I do instead is that I do like a batch on why I decided to do it, and then later on I do something that's on my experience as is, which is right now I'm a month in since I started on the 15th of May, 15th of June. I have relapsed sometimes, hasn't been as stock standard. But really the main goal of the challenge is that, well, you see in the behind the scenes. But it hasn't been all ideal. But that actually isn't a problem, really. But even in the video as well, while I was starting it, I had some interview questions, I had some research, which I decided not to put in the video because it didn't really fit the video genre as well. But here's some of the few questions I would have gotten into. Do comment down below if you'd like to see me asking questions to people on campus, what they think, sort of research questions, interview questions, on what they think. Now, I think I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. Well, 5.5. So it was, is social media actually important to students, or do they just use it for convenience? Overall, does social media affect you negatively or positively? How common is escapism through social media or a streaming service, and how do you think it affects people? Would you delete all your social media accounts? And if you were, what is the process you would take to make sure you don't relapse? I think it's actually a very important question, but do you watch streaming shows or TV shows often, and why is that? And last question, do you think an over-optimized lifestyle for productivity and results works? So those are the questions I set up. And let's see, is social media actually important to students, or do students just use it for convenience? What I've realized with just a small nugget, I suppose, what I've realized with actually deleting my social media is that it's really not important. Like, there really isn't. Most of the things you're telling yourself are actually lies, or well, close to lies. Now, but with me, I do have the background of not being on my phone. I was starting to slowly not be on my phone a lot, even social media. There really isn't anything. It became posting business wise. Now, even business wise, I had Instagram, I had TikTok, I had, now imagine posting on those ones and then posting the podcast as well as the YouTube channel and creating content for that as well as newsletter and school. Yeah, I wasn't even focused on them, so I just, that's why they just got thrown away by association. And now, do I ever think I'm going back? I really don't think so. I don't see that something happening. If I do end up there, it's gonna be with a social media manager. I don't really. I mean, it could happen, but I don't really see myself going back in them. But these are the questions. You could comment down below on what you think actually, and then maybe we start a community chat, and then maybe I go into some of these ideas and things in later videos. But those were some of the interview questions that I had. And while going into my research, I ran into brainwaves and how there are 5 brainwaves, and how, well, brainwaves I think will be for another video or something else. But you guys remember, right? To those of you who are my age or close, or maybe a bit older, where we'd go to school, right? Around grade 4, grade 5, you'd be in an English magazine. Now, in the English paper, you'd be doing English. Now, in the English paper, it would ask, in the English paper, it would write an article. In the article, it'd say, are children spending too much time on TV? How much is too much time on TV? They said 2 hours was too much time, 4 hours was too much time on TV. Things like that. Do you remember that? Now, I've seen it where the way I processed it, right, was that, so we have AI right now, right? AI becoming the big boom. No, before that, you have iPad kids, right? That's social media. Now you have AI with the way it's growing and how it's becoming the next biggest thing. But so when it comes to how these things affect us negatively or on a psychological level, I think that's the right word. Before you had TV. TV was the big thing. You must have 2 hours of TV, 4 hours of TV. TV was something that was pushed down, right? So we had TV, and then we had social media. Social media was slow. Nobody really went into it until your IGs came in 2015, 2016, 2017, I think. That's when IG became like an actual problem and people started affecting people negatively. So, and then now it's becoming, now I really don't know what it is. I just deleted it because it's pretty useless for me. But people do doom scroll still. You do have doom scrolling and addicted to the phone addiction. So you do have that, and then now AI is still coming with its own things. You have AI robots, and you can research them, but AI now is in the transition phase that social media was in. I think first you had TV, now you have social media, and then AI is the next thing that's gonna grab people and just mess up the psyche even more. But those are some of the research questions I had been planned for this video, but they would have made the video longer and much a bit more longer than it would have been if we didn't have stayed on topic. But some of the things, in the Sebworks space. While though I was creating the video, I did have problems with the thumbnail. I've been running into a problem with my thumbnail creation where the one really as I wasn't really sure how to make like proper punching thumbnails. So here's a short video on how my thumbnail journey was going for this particular video that I've been planning, and my thought process behind it and what I wanted to do. So enjoy.
So, like, I have a problem.
I'm trying to figure out how to make my own graphics. Let me just show you quickly. I'm here in it's Inkscape. I'm trying to figure out how to make my own graphics, and well, most things I can't really draw. Well, I wouldn't say I have top tier talent, so I wouldn't say I wouldn't draw. So I'm kind of forced to go back to CSS, which I left behind which I decided not to focus on. So it looks like I'm gonna have to learn CSS in order to create my own graphics for my YouTube videos, but I'm not doing that today. I'm focusing on my video. No visuals coming out soon or whenever. But looks like I'm gonna have to go back to CSS, which kind of puts me on 50-50 because I did web design a bit and then I forgot it. I started coding with web design and then I forgot it and then I went back again. And then I just left it because I decided web design wasn't really my thing anymore. And now looks like to create SVG icons, I probably need to learn CSS properly and how to use it properly. But I'm also guessing there's also other ways to do this, which I'll probably find if I did some research. But for now, this is the only way I have. So I guess I'll just have to work with that. So why do I feel the need to have to create an SVG file for my thumbnails? Well, basically because what I'm generally working on is Canva for my thumbnails, and um, it's feeling a bit limited with the way things are and the graphics. So I'm thinking if I'm planning to plan out my own thumbnails, the sketches and everything, it's becoming a bit limited. So I might have to do my own graphics. But now thinking about it, that actually sounds like way too much work. It sounds like probably not too much work because I've learned after doing this for a while that that's kind of what you're gonna have to get used to, but it's more feels inefficient. But well, let me just quickly show you the kind of designs that I'm having right now. But they're a bit lackluster, and this has been going on for a while. Same with my Sebworks podcast episodes as well. They're feeling a bit missing, like something's missing. So that's where I am with thumbnails, and now why I'm thinking of learning how to do CSS and all of that. But well, this is kind of what I ended up with some rain and thingy. Only thing I'm left to do is that I need to fix the background and perhaps maybe the color of the water. The clouds are not too bad, but the background needs to change, as well as probably trying the mountains, seeing what I do with that one. Maybe adding some, I don't know, well, of course, color to it. That's one. But I suppose another thing would be maybe I want to add that dead stick man there in the water by the rain. Around these parts right here, I want to add sort of dead stick man, maybe adding some rain, probably fix this green type of thing, but the background needs to change. That's one. And besides that, maybe not too bad, I suppose. Whether it's clickable or not, I don't really know, but this is what I have. Otherwise, I am going to leave this as it is and then see everything else tomorrow, what I'm working with. Thumbnail wise, I'm still gonna do some research and things on the non-visual episode, which is still coming up. But I'll just focus right now on my research, see what I want to do the thumbnail tomorrow. Probably need to look at this properly, figure it out properly how to make this thing work, because this will probably not be the first time. This is not the last time, but it's also probably not going to be the last time, because it's been happening for a while. We've got Sebworks podcast as well. I'm not too sure about the thumbnail is there, and we've got this YouTube channel as well, which I'm bringing in new videos and so on. So yeah, there's a lot to fix and so on, but
just focus on researching my no visuals video.
So I just hope you enjoyed that. Now, what I really meant by going back to CSS was when hmm, let me actually frame this. So when I started programming, right, officially, I started in C++. Officially, that's what I started in. Officially, as much as I can remember, it was C++. I read a C++ textbook. I was looking around here and there. It was C++. I read a textbook that I'd seen, and then I went into what I like to call the professional Visual Studio. The purple one, Microsoft Visual Studio, the purple one, instead of VS Code that I generally like to use now for many different programs. So it was the proper one, the what I'd like to call the professional one, the purple one with C. So that was official. That was officially when I started with C, but I never really got into it because well, C and C++, well, compiler was really annoying. Like setting them up as a beginner is really the worst thing. Like it's really the worst. So I think that's why I never really got into C back then. But C was interesting, I'm not gonna lie. C and C++. People said it was the most difficult. I said that's exactly why I'm gonna go into it because no, you wanna go into difficult. If you can learn this difficult thing now, that means every other program is gonna be easier, and that was my thought process behind it. And the process on that has changed, and I'm also creating a course on programming because I don't really think you actually need a program to actually start to learn how to program and what programming is all about. If you wanna be notified when I release that, then do join my email list. Link will be in the description. But programming isn't, now that I've been into it for some years, it's not as deep. But back to the main point was, so I started in, so that was C, right? And then I just didn't really go into it, and then I went to HTML, and then in HTML, and HTML, and I started HTML, generally go to CSS. After CSS, generally go to Java for front end development. Generally, that's what you do. And I started with Free Code Camp. That's what I started with. Free Code Camp is 6 year long. So if you want to start programming, I'd recommend you do HTML, CSS. It just gets you in. They're not really programming, but it gets you in the flow. And then on the side, you can YouTube what you want to YouTube programming language. That is programming this, programming that. Or well, you could just buy my course, which is coming out when I release it, because it's a from what I've seen and what I've learned, there's a lot more. I didn't know anything then, right? A lot more anxiety, a lot more. That was 2021 after all, but there was no AI, or AI wasn't as prevalent as it is. So back then I didn't know much, but now I've I've been around, I suppose. I've gone into HTML, CSS. I've done JS a bit. I went to Java. Okay, here's my process, I suppose. I went into C++ a bit, then I went up. Then I went to HTML, I went to CSS, and then I went to Java. From Java, I went to JS, which is JavaScript. Then I went into, I think, Java here and there. Then I went into C, which is what I'm programming with now. But between C and Java or JS, there was a bit of Python here and there, understanding what it's about. Because generally, when you document, with documentation, right, or when you want to implement, say, maybe LangChain in AI, what you're gonna find documentation with JS or Node.js or whatever documentation you want with that, and you want to find it Python. So those are the two. So I went into Python a bit, not really like heavy, but I somewhat know what Python's about, like actually working with it and things like that. And Python's also pre-installed in your Windows terminal. That's another thing. But yeah, there's Python, and then from Python I went into C, which is what I'm programming in now, and then from there we're moving into C++. So that's my programming journey. Back into C++ now. After all of that journey, quite excited, I suppose, because C++ is just connected. But that's back to the actual video now. That's why I meant going back to CSS. But CSS, I've realized here and there is that it's quite powerful in creating animations, transitions, and things. Now, that actually might not be the best case for my thumbnails, and my thumbnail process has changed a bit more now to accommodate, to go more with the title and much more of a structure with it. So my thumbnail structure has changed. Instead of trying to design, because that's what I was doing my time. I was designing because my graphic designing, like when I was doing the newsletter and the graphic designing. So I was actually designing the thumbnails as opposed to actually optimizing them for the function. So that's what happened to the thumbnail. I am gonna end up learning CSS for the animations and the transitions because um I still need to research this, but there aren't really many ways to do animations and transitions because I could do animations with the drawing because I do have the drawing thing. It was not for me. Well, I bought it for myself and then never used it. And but it's still in the house. Someone else is using it in the house, but I'm not using it. But I could use it, but I don't trust my drawing ability. So CSS is the way I'm thinking of doing it. And but if you guys know any animations ways you can do animations in videos, then please do drop a comment. But yeah, I'll probably go into animations, CSS, maybe also document that in a video. I'm thinking of doing here and there's an idea floating around. But that's CSS in a nutshell. Now I mentioned that I actually had some behind the scenes footage when I was planning before I decided to scrap the video idea. Well, it's here. It's a bit long, but perhaps there's some nostalgia as well. If you're around my age, a bit older, before we had phones. So please do enjoy. Visual stimulation has become the norm in today's society where whenever we want to clock out or just take a break from our busy lives and so on, we turn to social media like your IGs, your TikTok, or your streaming services or TV like your Netflixes, Disney, Hulu, Showmax, etc. These devices have become a daily part of our lives in a way that is unprecedented. I just realized I don't have the phone right here, so I'm gonna make one the old-fashioned way while we continue seeing embedded here. Anyway, while we continue with this intro to the video. So, do you guys remember how before phones were so accessible, we used to you get a piece of paper and then you draw your own phone, where you just fold it in half. So, this part would be a laptop, that would be a laptop, this would be a tablet, and then this, I made it a notebook. I don't know. Phones were smaller than this back then. So this would be my notebook. What's a notebook doing in the middle of a laptop and a tablet and a phone? I don't know. But this is just what I did. So yeah, and then last but not least, oh, and this would be my phone. Like in primary, and yeah, this would be my phone. So these devices have been all around with social media, TikTok, and the like. Now, some of these habits, these social media platforms are detrimental to us, where firstly you start with scrolling, getting on app, seeing, but then there's some other habits that come along. Now, every time, now, attention span, I suppose, for example, where you use something, but then because you've been doom scrolling for such a long time, your attention span gets decreased. And now you find that you cannot concentrate, say, on your books or reading, something like that, which is a common example. And examples like that lower discipline, I suppose. The one to not be bored, you can't be bored anymore. So this was my phone design back then. But the one to not be bored anymore, those types of habits that come along with it. Some of them are detrimental to us, whereas as others, let me just get this camera properly. Okay, camera. Will this be proper? I don't know. You got the circle there, and you got the flashlight. And that is my camera. Okay. Now, some of these habits may be detrimental to us, while others just see this. And while others may just see the social media as a tool to advance their own lives in the way they use them and the reach they're able to get for businesses, etc., leveraging the things they have. But that is just on the consumer part. Now you've got the business side where businesses, organizations, and the like, they're able to push out whatever messaging they want, whether that is for you or against you, right now with no checking. Humans are based on emotion, so whether you like the message or not, you're gonna follow it, whether it's for you or it's against you. And which reminds me of a quote
And then that brings me to the code where if a product is free, then you are the product. So perhaps that is something to think about. So my phone icons are just finished with what do I have? Well, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, home messages, and ellipsis, which is a very convenient thing I can do because I'm not gonna throw everything else. Then I can just say ellipsis for the rest of the apps that you know whatever you're gonna put there. But anyway, wait, I suppose I should put Netflix here to prove my point. Netflix, and Showmix. What is the app icon for Showmix? Oh, Showmix. It's an X. Why is it an X? Well, I forgot about X as well. And then we've got the arrow. Okay, so I've got my apps right here. I've got Facebook, IG, TikTok, and I've got Netflix and Showmax. Now, these types of apps are the ones which are called external influences in a sense, and they're the type of apps where I've had a proper robust defense against them. Check episode 9 for the full episode and for the full story. That's kind of why I'm not phone addiction, social media addiction isn't type of my thing. So, why am I deleting all of these apps? Well, because of one reason. My overindulgence in anime. Kind of. Whenever I wanted to rest or just ease into doing something, I had one of two options. Well, I'd watch something, firstly, and I had one of two options to what I'd watch. Sure, everyone has their own thing that they overindulge in from time to time, so maybe if I add some moderation here and there, that should fix my problem. Right. Well, to answer that, well, I need to look at my general workflow and how that is so that you can understand the full story. So I'll leave it to future Sebworks.
As the proper video director of this Sebworks production, I've decided to cancel the video because we're running out of funds and there's no budget. So viewers, please subscribe.
So now we're back here, and now allow me to explain my professional business reason as to why I decided to take such drastic measures. As you could see from my maiden calendar, well, that was my general workflow. But then on top of that, I've also wanted to do Sebworks at the highest level of quality, wanting to do something that takes me to my limits and even further than my limits, taken to the highest quality. Now you have that, and then that's the same with schoolwork. Even though I haven't been diligent with it, check well, studying on the last day, as well as my school. Started studying on the last day. My school video that's coming out soon after this one. From those videos, you can see that well, I've had my fights with school, but I still want to perform at the highest level. And so you have those two different drives, and now adding rest to it. It was a bit of a mess. But what I'm really getting to is my potential article, which link will be in the description. So what do I mean by that? Well, in that article, I describe what I think potential is, where basic brief is that potential is transforming the innate abilities that we have, intangible abilities that we have, into reality, into the real world. So that's my potential. Now, I felt like I wasn't reaching my full potential. Now, how did I know that? Well, at the end of the day, I generally have energy in the tank. Now, end of the day, I would say around 12 p.m. It shouldn't be a.m. So 12 a.m. Around 12 a.m. I have energy in the tank where I could still do something. And also with the stress of managing all the different projects. So sometimes I'll be focused on school and then follow up on Sebworks and then Sebworks on school. So then, okay, wait, it's only just been falling out on Sebworks. I'd never study until 4 on schoolwork. Except for that one time when I was doing the ELS project, we started this whole thing of sleeping late, but that's a separate story. So, and then I was sleeping at 4 and 5, doing what I'd call doing editing. So just do the editing, but I never feel like I was getting over the line of pushing my limits or pushing myself to cross that limit, which is what I've been wanting or longing to do for some time since I haven't done it in a while. I used to do it when I was playing sports, but now I'm not getting that same element of feeling. So that's the second reason.
What's actually happening with this whole no visuals thing mess that I've got going on here? Well, you've got this video that I'm just releasing now on my experiences, how I got into it, what it was about, and that. So that's this video. My next video probably releasing in July, 15 July, hopefully 2 months in. I'll talk about my experiences now. My experiences are somewhat diluted because things got hectic immediately after I dropped social media. I dropped TikTok, I dropped anime, I dropped Netflix. I'm not watching any soapies, any movies. Oof, it's all been work. I've been watching a lot of soccer. Soccer and sports. Those have been my main thing, and YouTube as well. But oof, it's just been work. I've been pumping out, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. You're actually doing something, not something, because you can't do that with social media, but you're doing whoa, like way more, and you're in the mood. You're in the like. It's just whoa. My experience is diluted because of just how much work I've been putting in and work, as well as there's been exams and things. But as a student, I don't really think you need social media. Um, I'm not a social media manager. I don't think many students out there are social media managers. And the one that I do have is YouTube, which is work based. But another thing, I mean, in university, right, 30% of the course is taught by your lecturers. 70% is taught on YouTube. So I need that for my course. But yeah, that is this video. Talking about no visuals, what it is about. Next video, that will be going into my experiences, how it is, and definitely recommend you try it. A lot more videos coming out in Sebworks, so to subscribe. One last thing for creators out there that I realize is that we watch videos, right? Not because we actually searched for them, though. That is just sometimes we do on YouTube, since YouTube is the second most used search engine, right? So sometimes, but I guess like maybe like when was the last time you actually searched for something on YouTube? I'm a huge YouTube user, so it's almost sometimes I'm only searching for a song or searching for something, but it's not that heavy. So, but YouTubers generally most of the videos we watch not because we actually looked for them or searched for them, but because they were recommended to us. There's the same thing with IG. There's the same thing with TikTok. Same thing with I don't know Twix, whichever one you're using. So that's a thing out there for there's a thing out there for creators out there. And if you're interested in wondering how my engineering journey has gone, which plays a part in how my experience in taking the no visuals has gone in, then do click right here. Otherwise, see you in the next one.